What's up, everybody? Welcome to another AEW Dynamite Recap. What is going on, friend?
Not too much. How about you?
And same old stuff as last week.
Oh,
They all like mix together into
they
one
blend into each other.
puddle of life, I guess.
Awesomeness.
Yeah, awesomeness is fun. Call it that. But yeah. So here we are, April 21, 2021. Almost 4 months gone in the year already. Good,
That's insane.
good
Hard
God.
to believe.
It's a long.
Yeah.
It's gone quite fast.
Yeah, it has.
Quite fast.
Blasting through.
But the reason why we're here. What did you think about AEW Dynamite?
It was an odd one for me, honestly. It was
Really?
good, but the matches kind of stood out more than anything else.
Yeah.
Uh which it should, don't get me wrong. But there are some amazing promos usually week to week. This week, not so much. Yeah. So
Ooh, wow.
yeah.
I'm surprised. I actually thought the same thing, but because usually the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle always hit it out of the park. And while I thought they were both good, I don't think anything. Oh man, you gotta watch this.
Yeah, I felt the same way on those. Agreed. And
But
they weren't the
yeah,
only ones. They weren't the only
but
ones.
yeah, I liked
Yeah.
everything on the show. There were some things that I was just like, we'll get into it, but there was a couple head scratchers. We'll talk about it. But you want to just jump into it?
I'm
So
down. Let's do it.
already the show starts off to a great start because as soon as the show starts, it's like we got Taz on commentary. I'm like, the show is already great. I don't care. But we start out with Hangman Page versus Ricky Starks, and as you all know, the two of us are very much on the Ricky Starks bandwagon.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is true.
I don't feel like this match disappointed at all. What did you think?
I'm with you. I was very happy that they showcased Ricky because it's been a while since he's really been on Dynamite. This was
Yeah.
this was a good start to the show. And it's only fair that he wrestled someone of Hangman's caliber,
Was
you know?
his
Yeah.
last dynamite match against his TNT against his T was for his TNT title shot against Darby? Was that his last dynamite match? I don't know,
Yeah, it's been a
but
while.
it
Maybe.
feels like it's been a while. But
It's over a month ago for sure.
he's
At
been
least
on
5 weeks.
pretty
Yeah,
much every week.
probably.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so um, before the match, they have a little interview. Stark says Hangman can't handle pressure, but he can. He makes diamonds. And one thing I really like about Ricky Starks too is everything, but one thing in particular was when he does these really weird little subtle movements in matches that are just so awesome. Like when he goes to, like they do that thing where, one guy drops down and then they do the leapfrog and the drop kick. But then when Ricky Starks goes to drop down, he's like like covers his head like that, like he's really trying to avoid Hangman.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. So he does. So another thing, Hangman hit a bridge for two, fallaway slam with a bridge for two, but instead of kicking out, Ricky just slaps his stomach to make him break up out the
Yeah,
hold.
that was an
So I was like, yeah.
that was an interesting counter to get out of that pin there. I give him credit for that one.
So like I said, Taz is on commentary and he's awesome. I really like Taz on commentary because while he's obviously biased for Ricky Stark, he doesn't go over the top and starts going. He compliments Hangman when he does something good. When Ricky does something good, he doesn't act like it's the greatest thing since Bruce Lee. He's just like, oh, like that was a nice move by Starks. Get on him, blah blah blah. And so, story of this match is Hangman worked on his ankle. They in the end, Hangman got a submission. It's kind of like a bulldog choke that Moxley does, but then he hooks the ankle with his other arm and he got a submission victory. So overall, I thought this was a good match.
Yeah, it was a great match. I almost wish it was a little bit longer. I mean, I'm being nitpicky, honestly. I'm glad that Starks got the spotlight on this one, at least to an extent.
Yeah.
And it really opens up more storylines, I guess, with Hangman too, as well as Team Taz, which we can get into. So
So after the match, Taz gets on the mic and he tells Hangman, "You got lucky. You're tough, but you got lucky." It was like he didn't really get lucky.
yeah, it's true.
He tells Hangman to watch his back, and Hook gives Hangman a chop block. And then Brian Cage comes out, and he's about to give Hangman the power bomb, but then the Dark Order show up and run them off. So I was like, I thought Brian Cage was gonna like come in and be like, we don't need to beat him up, but he just does.
Yeah, that was a real misdirection for me too. Like he came out. It's like Brian's got to be saving Hangman here, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Like for sure. Maybe not fighting Team Taz, but just like, come
It's
on,
like, back
guys.
off.
Yeah,
We got nothing to prove or something
this
like
is
that, right?
stupid. This is too much. Let's stop, right? But he was gonna do a move on him, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like,
So
okay.
so fantasy booking alert. No, it would have been really cool. Instead of the Dark Order, what if the Elite had saved
Oh,
Hangman?
dang. I didn't even when you said instead of the Dark Order, I was like, I knew where you were going with that.
What if the
I was
Elite?
thinking that what if the factory came out instead?
No, not the factory. What if the Elite came out with Don Callis? Because now Don Callis wants Hangman in there in his little
Hmm.
group. He's the invisible hand, right? He wants another guy in his palm, so to speak. How interesting would it have been for the Elite?
That's a missed opportunity, Damn, I didn't
Yeah.
even think of that.
But I'm
Like the elite
sure,
versus the world, the elite versus the world, right? And
yeah.
Hangman would have his loyalties tested because
And so
he's
Callis
been
comes
hanging with the Dark
out.
Order all this time.
Callis comes out and tells Hangman, "Hey, look, man, you were part of us when we were back in the old days and blah blah blah. And now, it's like now look at these people; they don't appreciate you, blah blah blah." And then we do the same story with Hangman that they did with the Bucks. Would have been cool. I mean, it's not too late; they can. So I thought that would be.
Yeah. Maybe they're setting up something for later. Maybe that could be an idea for later. That's actually,
I'm sure it's coming
yeah.
eventually.
Hangman will have his loyalties tested, right? For
Yeah.
sure.
But speaking of the Elite, they arrive and they've got their own trailer, and Brandon Cutler is their personal cameraman, and he's not D&D out anymore. And then next up, we've got Penta with Alex Alejandras versus Trent.
Funny you bring that up because JR actually brought
I
up the point. What is the question mark for?
I'm
And they
I'm
did
begin
not have an answer for it.
I'm beginning to think JR is not a fan of the Best Friends, because he made a couple other comments in this match that was like, is he kind of like thinking the same things that we are? Because
maybe he's one of our subscribers.
it's stupid, because it's like Trent question mark. So what are we supposed to think? Is it like we don't know his last name, or are we like not sure that that's really Trent?
That's his Yeah, or that's his first name. We don't know what his first name is. It's
Yeah,
weird.
or like
Yeah,
there's
it's
this
like
guy in the ring that looks exactly like him wrestling, but we're like, I wonder if that actually is Trent. Maybe it's not. Like, what is the deal with this? I don't get it, and it's dumb, and it's stupid, and it sucks. So
no, you know, I've sided with you on the best friend since the beginning, and I can kind of see the appeal. Like I can kind of see where they're going with this in some extent. They're just trying to be goofballs, and they're just weird for weird's sake. But yeah, it's starting to get dumb for just being dumb now. Like the question mark thing, which I don't know. Like it's just too much.
like it's why? It's just why? Like
Yeah, I don't know. And
like
the things they
is
do,
it
the things
supposed to
they
be
do week to
cool
week
or
make me
something?
question if they're the good guys or not, right? Like we
Yeah,
always talk about, are these the good guys? Really?
it doesn't really feel like it. But
Yeah.
anyway, he felt like the good guy in this match, though. I'll give him that. So.
Yeah. Well, when you're facing a guy painted like a skull, it's not too hard to
And
come over as the good guy.
there were some other antics, but what did you think of the match overall?
It was okay. It was pretty good. I honestly thought it could have been better. Honestly, maybe it's a little bit of ring rust. I don't know. It just felt like something was missing. And the commercial break didn't help. They didn't do anything at all for like the picture in picture. But I'll let you get into it.
Yeah, I thought it was good till the end. We'll get there. So before the match, Penta says they have a little video outtake. Penta says something in Spanish, and he says Alex says that Penta says the best friends, you should have never reignited their war, and if Orange Cassidy gets in the way, he'll get turned into orange juice. And then so Trent, I gotta say though, all things aside, the dude is a badass wrestler. He's very good in the ring. I mean, much better than his partner. So there's that. And so he had like that big dive over the top. That looked really good.
Yeah, that was true.
And he's like a taller. He's not like a super heavyweight or anything, but he's a bigger guy, and he's tall, so it looked really good. And so, Shivani. So this is where I thought maybe Jr. is kind of like not a fan of the best friends because Shivani says, is it smart for a guy who just came back from a torn pec to be doing dives like that? And then JR says, yeah, the dive was beautiful, but after that, he rolled him in the ring, didn't even go for a pin. So, what did that accomplish? And it's like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
JR.
that did have a fair amount of
A little bit,
to it.
yeah, a little bit of venom in his tone too. So
Yeah.
it's just like, maybe he's not a fan of Trent. I don't know. So, Penta, but then Penta hits a destroyer, and then we go picture in pick, and then they come back, and then Trent hits a half and half, and so JR says, "Is that the wrestling version of an Arnold Palmer?" Ha ha ha! So it's like, man, he's throwing in little jabs at Trent here and there. So it makes me think if he's not a fan of this whole best friend shtick too. And so another good line. This wasn't a part of the match, but then Excalibur brings up that QT Marshall is going to take on Billy Gunn later on, and Shivani says, I hope he steps right over him and through him. Penta hits a Made in Japan, and then they go to the outside. Trent hits a spear on the outside, and then Alex gets on the mic. By the way, Alex Alejandra is really rising up into like the Ricky Starks level of awesomeness. Not quite there, but he's getting there. He's tremendous. So he tells Trent, "You suck. Your friends suck." And worst of all, your mama sucks. So then,
no, he said Penta told me to tell you.
Oh, Penta told you, yeah. So Penta told me to tell you. And this is by the way when Trent's is in control of the match. He's in control of Penta. So because wins and losses matter so much in this company, Trent decides to grab a chair and go after Alex instead of winning the match against Penta. And so Alex jumps in the ring, and Orange Cassidy is behind him. He puts his hand in his pockets, and then Penta kicks him into a whole new world. Did you see that kick? Holy crap, that kick looked real as hell. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was real, and I hope Orange Cassidy is okay, because he
got clocked.
I guess, does the Lucha Brothers not like him in real life? Because there was this one too where Rey Fenix did his kick, and he like kicked Orange's head like as hard as he could. And gave him
you're right. That was when they were feuding, right?
And that was a legit concussion for Orange, was it not?
Oh, it was? I didn't even know that.
I want to say it was. I'm not sure, but yeah, and then Penta just waffled him in this one. He like took him out like crazy.
Yeah, it was a clean kick in the fact that he cleanly kicked him in the face.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a side swipe or a little off. Like, he knocked him on the side of his head.
And they never had the camera on Orange Cassidy again for the rest of this match or segment. So I wonder if he really got smoked. But then Alex is in the ring, so he hit in all this craziness. Alex hits Trent with a mic, and then Penta hits the package pile driver for the win. So yeah, not a fan of interference, but what are you gonna do? So.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess they're setting something up with these groups further on. I guess we'll get into it.
Think?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so now we've got the Pinnacle sit-down interview, and this was good, but it wasn't on the level of the. It's one of those things, like I said last week. These guys are so good that when they're just good, it's like almost kind of a letdown. Like, damn.
That's a fair point. This was a really good Pinnacle interview, but it wasn't great. I don't know. Again, I felt like something was missing. But I do like the fact that they actually had Wardlow talk, which is something. Yeah.
And they addressed something that was kind of a mishap last week. It was very good. So MJF says the scarf is so old. He gets a new silk scarf as a present from Tully Blanchard, and it's the exact same pattern as the old one, but it's silk now, so it's kind of a little more sheer. I like the old one better, actually. But then
agreed.
And then so this is what I didn't like about this, is because they use the word promo a lot. They talk about the perfect promo and the what did JR call it?
The immortal promo.
The immortal promo. It's like
promo, yeah.
That's just like too insider for people. It's like I don't know. But Wardlow says he's got the perfect promo. He mentions how Jericho stumbled his words when he was talking about Wardlow because he knew he was doing something wrong. So if you don't remember, Jericho said Wardlow had $1 million brain and a 10-cent body, which is fucked last week. So MJF talks about how like the Jericho rub is a myth and he's actually wrestling wrestlers that people want to see anyway, and then like trying to take credit that he gave them the rub. And so he lists a bunch of names: Kenny, Hangman, Moxley, Orange, and now me. And he's been outsmarting everyone for 30 years, but he hasn't outsmarted MJF. And he's not just great for 25, he's just great. The Pinnacle are the greatest faction. MJF says he doesn't need to prove himself because he already beat Jericho. He says he is a mark, but he's a mark for his spot, and he's going to take it at blood and guts. And when you're in the Pinnacle, you're always on top. It was a little too like promo and insider, and I'm a mark, and it was like, okay.
Yeah, they were really throwing around a lot of language that you would have to be on, really the other side of the curtain to understand. You'd have to be watching wrestling for a while. You'd be like, what the hell's a mark, and this type of things, right? So I get what you're saying. Fair point.
Up next, AEW Women's Title match: Hikaru Shida, the champion, versus Tay Conti, the challenger. Your thoughts?
This was a good match, but I don't know if I should say it until later when we get into it, but something felt off about Shida for me on this one. I don't know if you felt the same way, but I could be wrong.
Like in what way?
I felt she came off as kind of dark. Like I don't know.
Like she was
like enjoying beating up Tay a little too much. Like her facial expressions, her mannerisms, body language, everything. Like I was like, if I didn't know any better, I'd swear she was the heel in this. Then they're supposed to be both kind of
maybe a little bit. I mean, there was.
I was half expecting a heel turn, honestly. If I'm being honest with you, at the end of this, I was like, is she gonna turn heel at the end of this? Like she's gonna win, but like through some dastardly method, I don't know. So
yeah, but, I mean, I can kind of see it. She was a little bit more dirty tactics, I would say. Some of the moves were just like, whoa, that's kind of a brutal move here. Like, but yeah, I don't think you're completely wrong off that. I didn't think so, but if you thought so, I wouldn't be like, what the hell what match did you see? Like, yeah, it makes sense. I could see where you're going with this. And so they have their own little interviews before the match. Ty says she's nervous, but she's prepared. Shida says Ty will be the champion, but it won't be now, and her goal is to defend the AEW title in front of a big sold-out crowd. So starting the match, they don't shake hands, they bow, and then Shida takes control with a running knee with the opponent on the apron on the outside, hits an enziguri on the outside, and a brainbuster on the floor by Shida. So that may be where you kind of started to be like, oh, hit a brainbuster on the full floor. That's not really it's not really a good guy move. So
no.
Shida puts Ty in a bow and arrow, and then Ty hits a senton while Shida is lying across the top turnbuckle for 2. I don't know about that one. That looked really dangerous for both of them for that move.
There was a couple dangerous spots in this one.
They're coming up. I wrote it down. So Shida hits a running knee and a Falcon Arrow for 2, and then Shida has Ty in a fireman's carry, like standing on the second rope, and then she spins and drops Ty off onto the top turnbuckle, and then Ty just immediately wipes out to the floor, and then Aubrey Edwards immediately jumps out and like, holy shit, are you okay? Because that looked like she could have broke her back in half. I was just like, holy crap.
I was I was shocked. Well, we'll see, but I was shocked somebody didn't get hurt, honestly, in some of these moves.
Yeah. So then Ty goes for one of her signature moves, and then she goes for her version of the DDT, but Shida counters it into a drop down cradle for 2. She does a fireman carry into a backbreaker, and then the katana, which is a left leg treble in paradise, but with a knee, and the opponent is down. That's the best way I can describe it. And Shida retains. Gets the pin off that. So this is a cool match, but yeah, I guess now that reading it back, there was a little bit more aggression on Shida, but I didn't really think about like her turning into a bad guy or anything. And then Britt Baker's music hits. I'm like, yes. And then there's a graphic on the screen. She's now the number 1 ranked woman, and For some reason, this pisses off Shida to no end. She's like
She-
enraged by this. She throws the kendo stick at Britt Baker and is just like, why is she so pissed off about this? Like,
I guess she interrupted her win, her championship, celebration. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah. So, but looks like we're setting up a title match for Double or Nothing.
thank the Lord. It's about time they got it on with Britt. Jesus. How long has it been?
Yeah.
She should have got a title match so long ago, but
Didn't she get a
I
title
don't know.
match? No, she's never gotten a title match against Shida.
I don't remember. I mean, maybe she did.
I mean,
but
not at
I
a
don't.
pay-per-view, but I could have swore she had one at Dynamite. I could be wrong, but
I
maybe
don't.
not.
I don't remember. So I don't know.
She's been out for so long too.
Yeah.
So,
So
I was really honestly hoping. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
No,
but
go,
I
go.
gotta say, I was really honestly hoping for another Thunder Rosa Shida championship bout. So
did they even have one?
they did.
Did they?
I was joking, of course.
Oh,
Yeah, they did. It was at I want to say Full Gear. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't a Revolution because she faced
Nyla again.
Did she face Nyla again?
Didn't Nyla win
Yes.
the tournament?
No.
Oh no, the other
God,
the Japanese girl.
Minari. Shoot, I can't remember her name. Shoot.
Yeah, I don't remember. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We should take some notes next time.
Oh man. But I mean, she hasn't been on TV since, so it's not our fault.
Very fair point. That's true.
I mean,
she has not been on TV
She
since.
disappeared into somewhere, into the
Yeah.
netherworld.
Oh shoot. But yes, I'm glad that Baker is finally facing Shida
He's in
for the championship. One way or the other, I'm glad.
Greensville
Even if she's
or
better
whatever.
or not.
What is the place in WandaVision? Is that Greensville?
Westview.
Westview. So we got an interview with Miro. Can you recap this one? I got a phone call during this.
So Miro's just me and Miro. He's calling out Kip. He's like, it's been another week, Kip. You haven't responded to me. I'm still looking for you. I can't do Miro's voice, but it's just so good. It's comical, but it's really scary at the same time.
Yeah.
If I was Kip, I would be shitting my pants too.
Yeah.
This guy is like looking for you.
And he's not happy about it.
I know, and he's not happy. He's like, he basically broke down that he doesn't like unresolved business. That's why he left the last place he was employed at.
Yeah, and I mean,
and
I don't know if he did it this week, but let's like last week, he's just like, I just wanna set things straight, and he's trying to goad Kip into showing up, and then he's gonna beat his ass. And Kip is like, I'm not falling for this.
I think he's gotten way past that.
Yeah.
At least this week, there was no sugarcoating it. He was like, now I'm looking for you, Kip, because we need to resolve this. And he basically said that he's looking for championships, and he called out Kenny. He called out, not by name, but by circumstance. He called out, forgot exactly what he called Kenny, superstar or something, and he called Darby like some emo kid or something. And he said, now I just have to figure out which championship I'm gonna go for first. So he could be gunning for either one of them. I'm not sure. We'll see where this goes, but.
Okay.
I'd be scared if I was any one of those people that is even loosely associated with championships and/or my name was Kip Sabian.
Okay. So out next, we've got the Inner Circle. I can't decide if I like them singing Judas when Jericho is a good guy or a bad guy. Can't tell.
Really interesting.
Because on one hand, it's like it makes sense when he's a good guy and they're singing it, but on the other hand, it's like when he's a bad guy, it's like this guy is just so awesome. Sing his song.
Anyway, that's true.
Even though they hate him. But Jericho, he's in it. He's a student of the game. He knows how to work a crowd. The Inner Circle squad is as loud as you can be, baby. He's like, yeah. Kissing up to the fans. He says they're gonna make a trail of tears, and it ends with the Pinnacle. And then Hager says, we got presents for y'all. And then he starts throwing straws at the camera.
Straws.
At first, I was like, are those pens? But then I was like, no, they're straws. Because he says, you're these straws because that's what they'll be drinking their meat out through a month after they're through with them. And then Santana. Holy crap, this guy is like so underrated on interviews. Just like that one where he was talking about his dad and when he had the eye thing for Moxley last year. This dude is awesome. That they've been name dropping and I was talking about FTR. They've been name dropping and then they waited until they got a crew to back them up, which was smart. But where they come from, that's what they call bitch move. And they'll see the size of their heart. And then Jericho has some kind of poem about MJF, and I didn't write it down verbatim, but it's something about like how his head looks like a troll. He's a dipshit. Flush his head down the toilet, and he washed his ass within the scarf before he gave it. So he said it's all fun to make jokes, but at Blood and Guts is gonna be a lesson in violence you'll never forget. And the Inner Circle and Pinnacle have a parlay next week, but he doesn't want to wait at Blood and Guts. He's gonna get the hell out of MJF, and you better own your soul, because at Blood and Guts, your ass. It was good, but it wasn't like a classic Jericho.
Yes, that's a good point. But you did bring up a good point too about Santana on the mic, because man, I felt every word of his, man.
Yeah,
that cut deep. Yeah,
he's another one. It's like Eddie Kingston. Everything he says is like actually real.
Yeah, I would believe anything he says about his time growing up. It's like, yeah, and then there was that one time that we fought off 5 guys and somebody got stabbed and we ended up in jail, and it's like, yeah, I believe that. That was last week. Oh yeah, I totally believe that too. I could honestly believe everything he says. Yeah.
So I wish we had like some kind of prediction thing, because up next we've got Billy G versus QT. What did you think about this?
Prediction thing?
Yeah, because so QT comes out with Nick Camarado and Aaron Solo, and there's no Agogo. So I'm like, So I said to myself immediately when this happens, it's like, there's gonna be interference, Agogo's gonna come out, punch Billy Gunn in the stomach, and then QT's gonna win. And lo and behold, there was interference. Agogo comes out, punches Billy Gunn in the stomach, and then QT wins.
So, on to the next match.
Yeah. But a couple of things is I thought it was really good. There was a nice touch is when Nick Camarado takes a cheap shot on Billy, and then the Gun Club just jumps out from the crowd and starts fighting him and Aaron Solo. So one thing, did you see this? The pile driver. Did you see this pile driver? The pile driver that QT hit on Billy, and Billy's head shifted over in the middle of the move. So instead of landing, so he doesn't actually, they don't actually land on their head when they take the pile driver, but his head shifted to the side onto QT's thigh. And so when they landed, his head was on QT's thigh, and then Billy's neck just goes.
Oh.
When they landed, I was like, oh god, he broke his neck, and now he's dead. But you look at Billy Gunn's neck, and it's like, yeah, problem for him.
His neck is the size of most people's thighs.
Yeah,
so,
his neck is huge, and
so
yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much what happened in the match. But
I gotta say one thing that made me the point you brought up about the Gun Club jumping Camarado on the outside was awesome. But I could not stop laughing when Billy Gunn came out to attack QT at the entrance ramp, and QT threw Solo to Gunn. That was such a cowardly move, but it was so in character. It was so good. Like, just out of nowhere, he's like, holy crap. He threw him to the wolves. It was so good.
So this part was weird. After the match, QT's got a wooden chair. He's gonna attack Billy with it, but then Dustin comes in. He brings a bull rope and he whoops his ass. And he's got a shark pattern on his face paint this weird. And then he brings a bull rope out, but then he goes and he grabs the chair. So I was like, why did he bring the bull rope out? But then not QT, but Ogogo pulls QT out of the ring, and then he starts jaw-jacking with Dustin, and then Nick Camarado tries to hit a cheap shot on Dustin, but he dodges and smashes the chair over Nick Camarado's head, who doesn't even flinch. So I was like, this is weird, because just like a few minutes ago, the Gun Club fought him off when they were trying to interfere, Nick Camarado. But then Dustin smashes a chair over his head, and he doesn't even flinch.
He doesn't even flinch. That's true.
Like, what?
Yeah. It's very inconsistent, huh?
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not terrible, but it was just like, huh? So
It would have been great if he hit him with the chair and he stood there for a couple seconds like it didn't phase him, and then he just dropped.
yeah, I don't think that's what the tough guy image they're trying to play off for Nick Camarado though. And his ring attire now, it's kind of like a ripped up straight jacket or something.
You talking about Dustin?
Nick Camarado, the
No, Nick
white,
Camarado? Yeah, I
like
don't know. It's odd. Like even JR was kind of like, it must be cold out here. He's got his winter jacket on or
like I
something.
don't like I don't have a problem with it, but I was just what is this supposed to be? Like what is he trying to portray? Like Luchasaurus, he's got a dinosaur mask. He's a dinosaur, but it's like he's just got this like ripped up white jacket. What is it supposed to be?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Kind of odd. I will say that one odd thing that I noticed that I just have to bring up, when Dustin first came in, I thought he had a cape on.
What?
But because he came in so fast. He's wearing a black shirt, right? Well, let me take that back. He's got like a black cut up shirt.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't see the front. I only saw the back
And start
waving.
lifting when he's running.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
when he was running in, I was like, "Wow, does Dustin have a cape now? This is weird."
That's pretty good. He should have a cape now.
That'd be pretty funny.
So the elite is in their trailer, and Callis says he's a student of history, and there hasn't been an assembly of talent like this. Kenny is he's also about to become the Impact champion, and Matt starts talking. He says they're the reason why business went up in Japan. They're the reason why T-shirts are in retail stores in America, and they're the reason why it's all elite wrestling. And Nick says, "Yeah, it's not all Moxley Kingston wrestling." And they mock Moxley and Kingston, and then Kenny starts talking about how like you guys all hate the elite, blah. And then a car horn starts honking, and I thought it was coming from outside where I live.
You did too? I
Yeah.
thought so too. I was like, is that coming from outside my
But then
apartment?
when it doesn't stop honking, they're all confused as to be like, oh, what's with this car honking? And I'm like, two guesses as to who that could be, but the cars just won't stop honking. So they show the what's happening on the outside, and Moxley and Kingston are in a big ass truck. They ram the trailer, and Kingston says, "You got the pipe?" And yeah, Moxley's got the pipe, and they smash the window with the pipe. And what happened? Like Moxley threw the pipe, and Kingston was like still in the way or something. What did he say?
Yeah, he threw it right over Kingston. Like Kingston was right under the glass that he threw the pipe through, and Kingston's like, "You want to wait till I'm out of the way?"
So yeah, so they go in. They're gonna go in and attack the elite, but they must have stolen Alex Marvez's teleportation powers because they aren't there. And Moxley and Kingston are like, they wanted no part of us. They're cowards. Moxley calls them bitch AF, and then they go back to the truck. So you know what I thought would have been funny is if like the elite had stolen their truck, but snuck around around the other side and stole their truck.
And stolen their truck.
It didn't happen.
I half expected the elite to show up and start beating them up.
Where did they go?
Yeah, that was odd. I was like, okay, they're not in the trailer.
They must be
yeah.
They must be in the ambulance with Shaq or something.
Yeah, just disappeared, right?
Just gone. Telling you, my theory is they stole Alex Marvez's teleportation powers.
Teleportation device.
What happened? Powers, not device.
I thought this could have gone. I thought this was a miss, honestly. This is one of the promos I thought was a miss. Yeah, like I didn't get the ending at all. Like it made Mox and Kingston look like badasses, which it should have. I wouldn't mess with them. But at the end of it, like the elite just disappeared from their trailer. Like in the 10 seconds they got hit by the truck, or the 10 seconds from going outside to look at the truck to see who it was, and the trailer getting hit, they somehow all evacuated without nobody seeing. Like what?
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, like it would have made more sense if they were like in another trailer and just like, you thought we were in that trailer, you guys are too stupid, and just kept it going, or they attacked Eddie and Mox, and Eddie and Mox beat their ass anyway. Like, there's so much more that could have gone on than just walking away and the elite just disappearing. I thought that was a miss, honestly.
So we got Powerhouse Hobbs, Christian Cage, and I have a lot to say about this match, but what were your thoughts on it?
It was okay. This one was kind of the miss of the night for me, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't that. I don't know. It wasn't that amazing. I expected more from both of them. It was kind of slow. Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, you should get into it. I want to hear what you have to say, honestly.
So before we get into the match, Taz announces that Hangman Page is gonna take on Brian Cage next week. That should be a banger. Banger. So if you had on paper Hobbs versus Christian Cage, what do you think it's gonna be? Hobbs is young and more powerful. Christian Cage is the wily veteran. He knows all the tricks of the trade. That's exactly what we got. But I guess Christian's new gimmick is that he's just some old guy who is
Getting his ass beat
is just
the entire
barely pulling it through, right?
That's a fair point, because that's exactly what happened with the Kazarian match.
Because
he was losing 3/4 of that match, and then he won.
Yeah, so there was
Yeah.
there was this part like right in the beginning where Christian actually runs away outside of the ring, and then he runs back on the center of the ring and then takes out Hobbs. But then Christian hits a diving drop kick onto the outside, but then Hobbs just wipes him out with a clothesline. Just totally destroys him. And then they go to break, and back from break, Hobbs is in control, but Christian tries a kill switch. Hobbs just throws him down, and then they show a shot of Christian in the corner. He's looking old and haggard, and he's just gasping for air. I was like, this has to be his new gimmick where he's like Rocky, right? Where he doesn't have it anymore, but he just finds a way to eke out a win.
To pull it out.
Yeah, so Hobbs tries a Vader Braum. He gets a couple feet to the face. Christian fights back. Gets a diving European uppercut. Hobbs hits a big old spine buster for 2. Looks nice, looks powerful, but not as crisp as if done by an Anderson. So powerbomb off the turnbuckle by Christian, and a frog splash gets 2. Hobbs hits a hip attack in the corner. That gets 2. Christian hits a surprise counter kill switch and gets a 3. Yay! So, yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, right? I guess he's like, just like you said, like when he took on Kazarian was beating his ass, and then he just got a lucky kill switch and won. And then Hobbs was beating his ass. He's like he's literally gasping for air in the corner. And then he hits I'm sure that, Christian's in great shape. That was acting on his part, but he plays it off so well. He looks like a guy like he's about to have a heart attack and die in the ring, and then he just hits a kill switch and gets the win. So
fair point. I mean, yeah, you're right.
That's what it.
We'll see.
That's what it looked like for me.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what his next match is like. Well, as long as it's on Dynamite, that is. I don't know if he's been wrestling on Dark or Elevation, but possibly. Yeah.
So Ricky Starks, the good friend, comes out limping. He's still limping from the match with Hangman, but he's such a good friend. He comes out to check on Hobbs, and he stares down Christian. What a good friend.
What a great guy.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about Ricky Starks.
I cannot either.
Face of the company. Yeah. Good citizen all around.
Anything else you want to add on this?
No, I guess they're going to be setting up something with Cage and Starks, though. Interesting. Yeah.
Christian Cage, because there's a lot of Cages.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Christian Cage.
You gotta
yeah.
make sure. But they are setting up something with Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks, too, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of
cages against
a lot of
Starks.
buns in the oven on that one, yeah.
A lot of cages and pages in this company.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Too many, actually. Somebody should really look into that. Like, we got too many cages and pages, man. You got to change your name.
So we've got up next week we've got Penta versus Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford, noted with Kip. So he will be back next week.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to happen.
I wonder what's going to happen to Kip. So the Young Bucks are taking on the Seidels. It doesn't seem like that's a title match. It just says Young Bucks versus Seidels.
They said it was a title eliminator.
Oh, okay. So I guess if the Seidels win, then they get a shot?
Didn't this just happen? I could have
sworn
this just happened. Who was it that, like, if they beat them, they would get a shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was Matt Seidel versus Kenny Omega, and if he won, he got a.
Oh, so that's what it was.
Whoever I think that whoever Private Party needs to look into signing with whoever's running the Seidels contract.
Yeah,
because they keep getting title eliminator shots, and Private Party is just hanging out with Matt Hardy, trying to help him win the TNT title. Meanwhile, the Seidel's manager is getting them title eliminator shots. So
That's true.
private
The
party,
second one in like a month.
yeah, private party, you're pick the wrong
Doing
manager.
something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you lost what, 35% of your pay
Each.
Yeah. So we've got the Nightmare Factory versus the Factory. And speaking of the Nightmare Factory, what shirt are you wearing today? Oh, lo and behold, it's the Nightmare Factory in the old
looks family.
It looks like a familiar logo from another beloved franchise, not AEW though.
Yes, it is actually. They totally did a pretty much copy and paste, except changing the color of the dog, wolf, whatever you'd want to call it.
The Foxhound
from the Metal Gear Solid, yeah.
Which is completely ironic because of the two of us, which one is the Metal Gear nut? No, it's not you.
Yes, you. Yes,
you.
That's true. But
anyway,
I figured I'd wear my colors today to try and support the Nightmare family.
Speaking of wearing colors to support, I am wearing my big old protest shirt. Two lovely young ladies who got cut by another company. Perhaps we'll see them in AEW one day.
I hope so.
Should we be so lucky?
That would be amazing. That would kickstart the AEW rumored AEW tag team women's division.
They
right off the bat, I think
they need to.
They should hold the championship immediately and only hold the championship forever.
Yeah,
they should form a faction with Britt Baker.
Oh God, that would
just call it. We're done. We never have to have
unbelievably good. Unbelievably good that would be. I can't even imagine. Also, the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle are gonna have their parlay, and Brian Cage is gonna take on Hangman Page. And then we got a Jade Cargill video, and she says all the managers want to sign her, Matt Hardy and Vicky Guerrero. So those are all the managers that want to sign her.
I know. It's like I was expecting at least one more, and I was like, okay, I guess not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of other managers though. Tully, Arn.
So then this is weird. She says she don't need no manager. But if they want to sign me, they better offer me a hell of a deal. I was like, well, you just said you don't want a manager. So, I don't know.
Which is it?
But you know what? As soon as Jade Cargill appeared on the screen, you know what I was thinking? Like, she needs to call out Red Velvet. Like, oh my God!
I got one more thing to say.
I would have Red Velvet. I'm coming for you, bitch.
I'm coming for you.
I would have died laughing if that happened.
You know, that's the greatest thing too. Is wrestling is kind of in its own little world that you could totally believe that would happen. And if that did happen, I would so wish that they would have like a live reaction camera to Red Velvet, like watching the screen, like,
what the fuck?
What?
Whoa,
what is wrong with this bitch?
Yeah.
Like, we've fought each other like 3 times already. Like, give me
and you won every time. Like,
this is getting old.
They should have done it though. Oh God, I would have been so happy had she just called out Red Velvet in this video.
There's always next week. Yeah.
So we've got our main event. The TNT title is on the line. The champion Darby Allin versus the challenger Jungle Boy. What did you think of this match?
This is a great match. I didn't expect any less from these two guys. It's one of those things. This was one of those matches for me where it really could have gone either way. And anytime I think of Darby Allin, there's a few people I would kind of equate to his equal in the company, and not just in age, but in experience, the way that they wrestle, the way that they get the crowd behind them. And Jungle Boy was one of them. So this was like a 1 and 2 for me.
Well said.
This could go either way.
So I did think
this is a great match. Yeah.
So I thought Darby Allin was gonna win, but there was enough where you're like, you know what, Jungle Boy could win it here, and it wouldn't be stupid. It would make perfect sense. So there's a good chance Jungle Boy is gonna pull it out. And also, that song, while I feel what are you laughing at?
I'm figuring you're gonna take down the song again.
No, I'm not gonna take down the song again. I feel like It's really annoying when the crowd sings it when it's not playing. But when it's out, when Jungle Boy's coming out and they're singing it and it's playing, he comes off like a much bigger star when that happens. So yeah, that's what I had to say about that. And so one thing we didn't mention, we forgot to mention last week, although we both had it in our notes apparently. You know where I'm going with this. Is Darby Allin had some new tights last week for the big ol' no DQ brawl with Matt Hardy, but this week he's back to the Peter Pan tights. So I guess that was only for the no DQ match. Why? So whatever. I mean, I'm used to the Peter Pan tights by now, so.
Yeah, I guess that's true. He's such a big skater. Like you figured he'd be wearing like, some cargo pants or something. Like last week was perfect. I could totally see him wearing that kind of gear as his, staple ring gear, but whatever, it's fine.
So Excalibur at the beginning of the match mentions that the TNT title has a TV time remaining time limit. So they this was good. They started off with some good old mat wrestling and was a technical bout until Darby just gets into the mount, starts punching Jungle Boy in the head. They spill out to the outside over the guardrail, and then we've got some picture-in-picture. And then back from the break, Jungle Boy hits a belly-to-belly in the corner and a German for 2, a tiger suplex for 2. And then he did not hit a dragon suplex. But Excalibur mentions, I think it was Excalibur, he mentions, Jungle Boy's got a dinosaur in his corner, but Sting's got an icon. But Darby's got an icon in his corner, and JR just says, "I'll take the icon." And Jungle Boy hits a series of dives. Darby hits a coffin drop to Jungle Boy on the apron, and Jungle Boy barely beats the count. Luchasaurus actually helped Jungle Boy get back in, and then Luchasaurus and Sting are having some words. Lucha puts his hand on Sting like, "Yeah, sorry, man, it's okay though." But then Sting is not having it. He attacks Luchasaurus, and then they fight to the back. And then Jungle Boy takes control. He hits a snare trap. He puts him in the snare trap. Darby gets the ropes. Jungle Boy pulls him back, hits the Romero special, and then back into the snare trap. He's got a modified hook in on this time. Darby pulls his hair, gouges his eyes to get Jungle Boy to release the hold. And then Jungle Boy just starts wailing on him. But then out of nowhere, Darby hits the Last Supper pin in a surprise and gets the 3. And Jungle Boy is stunned. And that's the end of Dynamite. What a way to end the show. It was great. Thanks, guys.
See you guys. Thanks. See you next week. Like, comment, subscribe. We're kidding, of course.
Unfortunately, as great as that ending was, that was not the end of Dynamite.
You're right. It should have ended there. It honestly
should have just ended here.
And it would have been a perfect end to this night.
So Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page come out, and they beat the crap out of Jungle Boy and Darby. And then Ethan Page hits the Eagle's Edge on Darby. Is that what it's called? The Eagle's Edge?
Ego's Edge, because he's all ego.
Oh, I thought like it's not Eagles. It's
no.
it's okay. I get it.
I'm 99% sure it's Ego's Edge. Even though you're right, it sounded like Eagle's Edge, and I was like,
that makes more sense for his character. So yeah.
I was like, but it would have been awesome if it was Eagle's Edge and he did like the wings after. I want to see that now.
So he hits that on Darby, and then Lance Archer comes out. Thought he was a bad guy, but now he's back to being a good guy. And then they give him a low blow, and they beat up Lance. But then Sting comes back with the bat, and then they run off. And then that's the end of Dynamite. So,
yeah, it really deflated the air out of the room for me. I mean, it shouldn't have ended that way. Honestly, it was a perfect end, like you said about it just ending with Darby pulling out this, eking out this win that could have gone either way. And it just ended on both of them. Like, wow, like everybody spent, just end Dynamite. It was a great Dynamite. Let's go from there. Instead, they just pulled this out of left field with Scorpio and Page, and it's like, why? I mean, these guys haven't even been on Dynamite other than being in the crowd for like the last 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So,
shall we give them the song?
I don't know. Yeah, give them the song.
Okay. So, in the 10 minutes before the show ended and before we went on the air, I was singing this song to myself as I was preparing. It's, just a short little song. It's not long, but it goes to the tune of the great song, Mr. Robinson. And it goes a little something like this. What have they done to you, Scorpio? You used to be one of my favorite guys. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's my sentiments on this. What have they done to you, Scorpio? You used to be one of my favorite guys. Somebody at AEW thought, hey, you know what? This SCU thing is so awesome, but we're not having it. Let's take Scorpio out of SCU, and then we'll have him tag with Ethan Page as a bad guy.
Yeah.
Who thought this was a good idea?
And that's about as far as they went with that, I think. Because once they decided on that, they had no idea where to take this angle. Because I'm not getting anything from it other than the fact that they're two assholes. You know?
Somebody did not think this through.
And not in the likable sense. Like MJF is a likable asshole. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just assholes. So.
No, it's not even a matter of that they're assholes. It's just like, what is this? This is not Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it at all. Not to mention, like, if both of them are attacking Darby with the intention of winning the TNT Championship, is that not going to be an issue when it comes down to winning the TNT Championship? Like, one of them's got to stand out. One of them's got to get out of the way, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, this is dumb. This is beyond dumb for me. I don't know where they're going with this. They may be able to save this in some way down the line, but right now
it doesn't look good.
Yeah, I'm completely out of this. Yeah, too bad. I love Scorpio too. I thought he was destined for great things. He still could be, but right now his stock has dropped
immensely,
massively. Yeah, so too bad.
But yeah, that unfortunately was the end of Dynamite, and you know, I think AEW does a little bit too much of trying to set up the next week. When it's just like, just let Darby have the win and have it go off the air is a happy ending with Darby winning.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of times you're right. They kind of have to set up the next week. And it's like, this would have been fine if this would have been great if it just ended at the end. Like, wow, what a match. We're done. Dynamite's over.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. You know?
We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
And then next week have I mean, you could even do it to where, like, hey, guess what happened after Dynamite, and then show this.
Yeah, that's true.
Or just have them come back next week and have it be like Ethan Page and Scorpio like pissed off, or have them show them in the crowd like they've been doing for the past couple weeks. Or I don't know, just really like, what are they doing? We may be the only ones though. Who knows? Maybe everyone, the rest of the world is like, this was awesome. What a perfect ending to Dynamite. You two clowns don't know what you're talking about.
Tell us in the comments if that's true.
Do tell. But anyway, do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Actually, there was two things I wanted to bring up.
All right, go ahead.
One, where has Cody Rhodes been?
Yeah,
I'm shocked. I mean,
that's a good question.
He's been on Dynamite. He's been on pretty much every Dynamite since Dynamite was on the air, except for that 1 month or so after that
was doing the
Brody Lee match.
He was doing the Go Big show.
Go Big show. Yeah, he's not been around at all. Is Brandy given birth already? Is that why?
I have no idea. I haven't
been following that. Yeah. So I found that kind of odd. That's kind of why I wore this shirt. I was hoping maybe I could bring out some good energy and Cody would make an appearance.
Where have you gone, Cody? All right, okay.
Yeah.
And then
the other thing I wanted to bring up was one thing I really love about AEW is, and it's been a long time since I watched the other promotion.
Ooh.
But
are you talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Yes, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Oh, you know about this Japanese?
They've been talking about it all this time, so I kind of know. I kind of know that there's I know that there's a promotion called New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm assuming they're in Japan, but that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge on it.
That's all you know? Okay. Very interesting. Okay. We'll circle back on that another time. But one thing I love about AEW compared to when I used to be watching the other promotion way back was when they were scanning the crowd, singing Judas, for example. There's an actual crowd now, not the wrestlers, on both sides of the ring that they pay to be there. Pretty much everybody had a different shirt on. Everybody had all different kinds of merch on, which really tells me that these fans are in it for more than just the superstars. You know what I mean?
They're in it for the
Like,
shirts.
that's true. I mean, I'm a huge mark. I've got enough shirts, at least a dozen shirts off the bat too. But at the same time, it's not like everybody's wearing a Kenny shirt and everybody's wearing a Mox shirt. You know what I mean? There's so much more to it than that. That you know, everyone can find something they enjoy and they don't mind repping that wrestler, or that faction. You know what I mean? Like with the other promotion, let's be honest, there was 3 or 4 top sellers in every crowd, right? I mean, when they scanned the crowd, like probably 3/4 of them were wearing at least 3 or 4 names, and that's it. That is it.
I guess that's
When they were singing Judas,
that's somewhat
there was
fair.
there was 20 different shirts, and I'm talking like Kenny and Top Flight and Young Bucks and just All Elite and anything you can imagine. It was all out there. Bullet Club, Hangman. I was like, wow, these guys, anybody you can think of was represented in that crowd. At least from what I saw. So I thought that was cool. I thought that was a nice touch that proves that AEW is really doing a fair job of having everyone have some time in the limelight to, get the crowd over for them. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, that's a good point. I didn't really think about that, but now that you mention it, yeah. Good observation. But other than that, is that it then?
That's it. That's it for me. Anything
Okay.
from you?
No, that's it for me. It's another week done here. So until then, there's a bunch of buttons that you can click on to support us if you feel so inclined. If you don't like us, come anyway. But other than that, we're out. Be good, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.